For the special election in District 6, why this congressional seat is so hotly contested. Plus, a pilot program for a local dog beach. Is it here to stay? The city discussing whether or not to make it permanent. And the popular intersections where one city wants to add license plate readers. This is News 6 Mornings.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back. It's 7 o'clock on your Tuesday. I'm Crystal Moyer.
I'm Justin Wormuth, Trooper Steve, watching the roads. They're foggy. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos has that pinpoint accurate forecast.
Yes.
Yeah, another foggy start to the day.
Yeah, first day of April.
Yeah. Does that have any significance?
Are you going to say it? It's April Fool's. I'm not going to do anything about it. All right, let's jokes. So today, we're going to have Steve do the pinpoint. No, I'm just kidding.
That'd be funny, but you guys would...
that would be terrifying.
You would have zero clue on what's taking place out there today.
Speaking of zero, range, right now we are seeing visibility down to 0 currently in areas in and around Orlando. Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday. Right now we're seeing visibility down to about a mile or so there in Brevard County as well. So the fog, as we've been talking about all morning, is going to worsen as we kind of close in on sunrise. Downtown Orlando Sky Cam brought to you by Light Orlando, delivering hope together. You can see we have that fog. It's kind of just continuing to kind of sink down to the roadways. Right now we're holding at 69 degrees. So if the kids are heading to the bus stop, make sure that you're kind of giving yourself extra view of the sidewalks and whatnot, because that fog is kind of dense in some spots. Later on into the afternoon, 87. That is going to be our temperature by dismissal time. It's going to stay hot with a round of some late day storms in the forecast. The main focus for today, not so much the coastal communities like yesterday, but more focusing right along that inland zone up and down the I-4 corridor. We'll have more details on the timing of today's rain and a look at some possible cooler changes ahead. Winter might be back. We'll have more details on that coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
She's not joking with you guys. There is a front. I don't want to be the Met, but I'm telling you, it looks pretty cool, and it's going to cool us off. It's a front thing that's moving, and it's going to bring the temps down. 95, 205. Look, that fog that Chief's talking about, it's there. I need you guys to be very careful when you're starting to leave the roadway, leave your home this morning. And look, just because the sun's up doesn't mean I don't need you to turn your headlights on. Look, sun's up. Everyone's got their headlights on out here. It's for you to be seen while in that fog. So please take it nice and easy. 528 running smooth this morning as you make your way into central portions of Central Florida. 417. South end here. Haze, not as dense as Brevard, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. So please take it nice. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. In results 2025, voters in a portion of Central Florida will head to the polls today for a special election.
Yeah, Republican Randy Fine and Democrat Josh Weil are both looking to take the seat formerly held by the new National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and the results could have big implications in Washington.
Yeah, no doubt. News 6's Mark Lehman following this story for us this morning live in Volusia County, and this is one of 2 Florida races being watched closely today, Mark.
Yeah, you've likely seen the onslaught of attack ads on both sides. Florida's District 6 could be crucial for Republicans trying to maintain a slim majority in the House. Just in the last couple of minutes, the precincts open here. Voters are casting their ballots. They could be shifting the balance of power.
The Democratic Party and the Republican Party are neck and neck.
Volusia County Supervisor of Elections says today's special election could come down to the wire. Congressional District 6 is the seat formerly held by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. It covers several traditionally red counties, but polling shows a tight race.
I'm going to help Donald Trump get his agenda done. Look, the House majority is very small.
Republican Randy Fine is hoping an endorsement from President Trump will carry him to victory. Democrat candidate Josh Weil has campaigned against the administration's moves to downsize the federal government.
We have got to protect Social Security. What is happening now in the name of government efficiency is horrendous.
The race is important because it could have a big impact on the balance of power in the U.S. House. With a 5-seat majority, the GOP is hoping to hold on to District 6 as well as District 1. That's where Republican Jimmy Patronis is running against Democrat Gabe Valamont. Both are looking to claim the seat held by former Congressman Matt Gaetz. And with polls now open, they will close at 7 this evening. With votes in Congress at stake, President Trump spoke yesterday about the closeness of these races. I'm going through that for my next report coming up at 7:30. For now, reporting live in Volusia County, Mark Lehman, Getting Results, News 6.
Mark, thanks. Also developing a history-making space mission now underway after liftoff from our coast.
You saw it live right here on News 6 last night as the Fram 2 crew blasted off on a Falcon 9 rocket from the Kennedy Space Center. This is an all-private mission funded by cryptocurrency investor Chun Wang, and it's going to be unlike any other. That's because the 4 astronauts will be orbiting around the Earth's north and south poles, the first time that has ever happened. The crew is also set to do some pretty groundbreaking experiments while in orbit, including taking the first X-ray in space. And the launch capped off a busy day for SpaceX. Just a few hours earlier, another Falcon 9 took more Starlink internet satellites into orbit after blasting off from the Space Force Station.
This morning, we're waiting to find out the name of the driver accused of taking off from deputies before causing a huge crash in New Smyrna Beach. We were there right after this happened on the South Causeway Bridge. Deputies say they tried to stop a car for reckless driving when the person behind the wheel sped off, then crashed into several other cars on the west side of the bridge near Magnolia Street. 2 people, including the driver who fled, had to be taken to the hospital as trauma alerts.
Happening today, leaders in Ocoee are set to sign off on adding more cameras to read car license plates.
Law enforcement agencies across Central Florida now use the tool as a way to fight crime. But not everyone is on board with the idea.
News 6's Angie Casada live in Ocoee for us this morning. And Angie, the city already has 10 of these cameras in place, and that number could soon grow.
Hey guys, yeah, that's right. I'm actually at one of those proposed sites where they'll be seeing that new proposed license plate reader if it's approved. And I'm going to take a step away so you guys can just take a look at this intersection. This is definitely a developing area, high traffic, and this initiative is part of a partnership with the Sheriff's Office, all aimed at getting results and cutting down on crime.
The intersections slated for these additions include Claricona-Ocoee Road and North Lakewood Avenue, Claricona-Ocoee Road and Clark Road, McGuire Road and Tommen Road, McGuire Road and Old Winter Garden Road, and Franklin Street and State Road 429. These cameras are designed to capture and process license plate information, assisting law enforcement in tracking vehicles associated with crimes. The city currently operates 10 such cameras and plans to increase this number to 15.
It's a force multiplier.
Former Orlando Police Chief Orlando Rolon shared his insights in the effectiveness of license plate readers in crime prevention.
The license plate readers have proven to be a tool for crime deterrence. They have also been able to increase the accuracy of the ability to process a tag that is being filtered through the system.
Residents have expressed mixed feelings about the expansion. Martha, an Ocoee resident, voiced her concerns.
I can see that if they're looking for somebody in particular, they're running from the law, that can be something that can help find it easily and find the information. But for the users every day, you're exposing yourself every single time and you don't know what that information gonna be used.
Now back here live, the Ocoee City Commission is scheduled to discuss this proposal at their meeting tonight just after 6. Community members are encouraged to attend and give their feedback on the proposal. Of course, we're going to keep you updated and let you know what happens during that meeting right here on clickorlando.com. Reporting live in Ocoee, Angie Casada, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, Angie, thank you. A health alert is now in place at one of Orlando's larger lakes. The warning comes after about 100 gallons of sewage spilled into Lake Man. The sewage backup happened along Orange Center Boulevard back on March 25th. The city is now telling everyone not to fish, swim, or even water their lawns with the water from the lake. Those who often visit the area say they're concerned.
I was really looking forward to coming and putting my boat back in the lake and being back on the lake. But for me to come here and see the sign, that's pretty concerning.
The city says it'll perform E. coli testing until the all clear will be given.
Happening today, the city of Kissimmee will have a swearing-in ceremony for new police chief Charles Broadway. The former Claremont police chief takes over following the resignation of Chief Betty Holland last year and a large investigation into allegations of misconduct that followed. The formal swearing-in will happen during tonight's City Commission meeting at 6. And happening today as well, the Volusia County Council set to decide whether a new dog beach in Ormond Beach will become permanent or go away for good. Supporters say nearly 13,000 dogs visited the stretch of sand during the 18-month pilot program with no bites reported.
But critics have started a petition against the dog beach, saying the rules haven't been enforced enough. Today's commission meeting starts at 9.
Crews are keeping a close eye on several brush fires that have popped up in Volusia County, and one of the biggest is called the so-called East Marsh Fire. It quickly burned through hundreds of acres northwest of DeLand. Fortunately, this is pretty far from any homes. Firefighters say lightning combined with recent dry conditions have created the perfect storm for fires, something that we have been telling you about for a while now.
Yeah, Candace, especially with all of that dry weather we've been having and getting some little pockets of rain, probably not a big help.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we do need a lot of the rain. We just don't need all the lightning that we had, let's say, yesterday. So again, some beneficial off and on rain almost daily is what we need, which is what we tend to kind of transition into during the wet season. But I do want to kind of show you real quick. We did rack up a little bit of rainfall, especially in some of our spots throughout Orlando and Sanford within the last week or so. So things are starting to improve slightly, but areas like in Leesburg, for instance, still increasing their deficit there of more than 5 inches of rainfall. So once again, Lake and Sumter County both under a severe drought until further notice. Looking at the radar right now, we need the rain. We're going to get some rain in the forecast for this afternoon at coverage about 30%. Unfortunately, it does come with the risk for more lightning, which could help fuel fires. But we will have some wind, but we'll have some beneficial rain in the forecast. Now, rain chances are going to continue to trend up between about 3 and about 6 o'clock. We'll be pinpointing which areas, which counties, which neighborhoods will be able to rack in a little bit more rain today, coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
Thank you. And you can see that fog is gone from New Smyrna, so it's moving. 95 at the 246, nice and clear this morning. Traffic moving real nice out there this morning with no major issues. So let's track inland a little bit. Over 417 and Lake Jessup. I love driving this area, and this DOT cam is really nice. Nice, smooth. The lake is nice and smooth out there like glass. You can see the gators as they're kind of just sunbathing out there this morning. Traffic moving real nice, no heavy fog here. And as we move further south towards 417 and University, you'll run into a little bit of that haze, and especially down towards the 408. So be careful. Guys, back to you.
Hey, Steve, 7:12 now. Coming up, President Trump taking on the frustration of buying concert tickets.
You buy a ticket for $100, by the time you check out, it's $170.
The Oval Office appearance by Kid Rock as Trump promises a crackdown on price gouging.
Plus, we're highlighting the city of Oviedo, also known as a youth baseball powerhouse. We hit the road to learn how the community is contributing to future baseball stars. You're watching News 6 Morning's glorious shot here from Launch Credit Union Port Cam. We'll be right back.
Right now, rescue operations continue in Southeast Asia after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit Myanmar on Friday. The death toll now tops 2,000, including at least 20 in neighboring Thailand. Authorities are still searching for people under the rubble of collapsed buildings, but admit hope is fading of finding many more survivors. Governor DeSantis is pushing forward with a plan to give property tax relief to Florida homeowners. During a visit to Orlando yesterday, DeSantis issued a proposal for state lawmakers to put $5 billion towards property tax cuts. The proposal comes as state lawmakers also discuss a potential reduction in sales tax by 0.75%.
There's no property tax relief in that proposal, but it also allows relief for foreigners. It allows relief for visitors and part-time residents.
The governor said the plan would save the average homeowner nearly $1,000.
Well, Lake Mary made worldwide headlines last year when they won the Little League World Series on this perfect bunt. Well, it turns out the city of Oviedo is also known as a youth baseball powerhouse. We're hitting the road all this week to Oviedo, and News 6 anchor Lisa Bell recently spoke with Alan Green, the dad of Detroit Tigers star Riley Green, about how the community contributes to their success.
That's Tiger Stadium. This is actually the perfect game bat.
Walking the perimeter of this batting cage in Oviedo
This is Taylor Ward's bats. He's the left fielder for the Angels.
is more like walking down memory lane at a baseball museum.
This was given to me by one of my clients. One more, come on, you can do it.
Alan Green has been coaching in this community for 33 years and watched some of the greats, including his own son Riley, grow up here.
I mean, there's so many. There's like Mountcastle, around Mountcastle. There's Riley Green. There's Zach Eflin. A lot of those guys have actually been in this cage.
For so many professional athletes to come from a relatively small community, what do you make of that?
It's a hard question, but you know, as you look back and you see that those guys were always a team. And that's very exciting for me to watch that.
Well, days after graduating Haggerty High School in Oviedo, a local team gets the call of a lifetime.
Star baseball player Riley Green was just drafted into the major leagues.
In fact, a lot of people have been watching. News 6 was the only station at Riley Green's draft party back in 2019. We watched as 200 of his friends and family in Oviedo also watched Riley being selected as the 5th overall pick in the MLB draft.
And then the room just erupted. And that was all of his buddies from Haggerty High School, from 8U All-Stars.
Baseball really does seem to be an important part of the fabric of this community, the culture of this community. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, baseball, I can kind of relate baseball to pretty much anything you do. The future, the present, and the history of baseball it's here.
It runs through Central Florida and certainly Oviedo.
It really does.
Lisa Bell, getting results, News 6.
Jeff Driscoll, NFL quarterback, also a Haggerty alum. So that is quite the spot. And be sure to join us in Oviedo. Lisa's going to be out there live this afternoon as our Hits the Road coverage continues. And you can watch it all starting at 4 right here on clickorlando.com. And, of course, on WKMG as well. We have enjoyed hitting the road to Oviedo, just a really cool spot. The secret's out, unfortunately, for the people who have lived there for a long time. They're going through some growing pains in Oviedo.
Yeah. I'd love to know what the data is compared to the rest of the country, how much Florida, how many athletes we produce.
Oh, Justin knows them all.
No, I don't know them all,
Blake
but
he's got selfies with every single one of them.
They're close friends.
I promise you I'm not a jock sniffer. I'm just a fan of, like, you know.
That's the term.
I've never heard that. Okay,
I just like supporting our Central Florida athletes.
I'm not a jock sniffer.
We don't need to repeat
I've never heard that in my life.
Well, first time for everything.
Howard on the cameras right now is dead.
What?
That's
okay.
Great. Candace, take it away.
Yeah. Justin knew what he did. I'm just letting you all know. All right, let's talk about the weather forecast. Visibility is less than about a quarter of a mile or so in areas in and around Orlando. I can't even. Down to about a mile or so in Kissimmee, Melbourne, Cape Canaveral, Daytona Beach. Steve's walking. Okay, good thing this is at the 7:20. And not earlier. All right, satellite and radar composite. We are still showing plenty of moisture. All the rain and storms that came through yesterday on their way out. We have a cold front that is going to try to make its way here into Central Florida. But as it does so, it's really going to kind of fizzle out and fall apart, keeping us on the hot, dry, muggy side of things. So the big question is, summer, is that you? Well, technically, we will get very close to near 90 degrees for a couple of days this week. On average, our first day in the 90s tends to be around April 8th or so. So we're kind of in that zone. But it has been some quite some time since we've seen temperatures in the 90s. We have to go all the way back to early October. Now, temperatures out the door, upper 60s, low 70s, pretty much area wide. Again, dealing with some of that dense fog, but we are going to continue to see a lot of that kind of lift and dissipate over the next hour or so. And then we'll turn our attention to that moisture coming in the way of some rain. So as of right now, rain chances are going to start trending up to about a 30% chance come 3 and about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. As of now, we will have that chance for seeing some rock and thunderstorms wherever that sea breeze really kind of meets. So let's look here at the clouds and rain forecast. You can see right along the I-95 zone here, a couple scattered showers will continue to push inland. And as it does so, we will develop a couple scattered showers. But again, you see where everything kind of just meets right there along the I-4 corridor. That's going to be that collision zone. That's going to be our best shot of seeing some heavier rain, some lightning strikes. But notice how late in the day it's going to be. This is going to be more of a later start to some of the rain and storms. So we're going to keep that rain chance in place for a few hours even after the sun goes down. And then after that, rain chances are pretty much done with for the rest of the week. So because we don't have any rain to talk about the rest of the week, we're going to talk about that heat. Looks like we could get pretty close to that first 90-degree day, possibly late Friday, maybe Saturday, with a high of 91 degrees. But for those hoping for maybe a little break from the 90s, it looks like we could be in store for an actual cold front that will actually be cold. Imagine that. On Monday, it could be bringing us some rain, but some cooler air will be settling in behind it. As we get results here, the full 7-day forecast do expect, again, hot conditions. Our next best shot for rain, though, still looks to be on Monday. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
Checking out Brevard County right now. Some of that fog right here close to St. John's Road along I-95. Very low to the ground here, but just north and just south, it's not too bad. So take it nice and easy. No crash to currently report to you. Beautiful shot here over at Cape Canaveral right now. That sun rising off into the distance. Not as great of a high-def camera as the chief has, but hey, 528 let the 51 looking good if you're headed out towards the coast this morning. Gosh, that's got to be a nice drive for you guys out in Brevard County every day. What a life to live out on the coast here in the state of Florida. Nice and clear, 95 headed down towards Melbourne. All clear. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. Well, the Swifties first grabbed the attention of Congress with their frustration trying to purchase those concert tickets.
Yeah, and still to come, the new order from President Trump to try and bring some sort of relief.
Plus, the mailman terrorized by a group of wild turkeys. At the bottom of the hour, the moment he knew, he had to make a run for it.
President Trump has signed a new executive order hoping to bring some people relief when it comes to buying concert tickets. Kid Rock joined the president in the Oval Office yesterday for this event. So the order targets price gouging and directs the Federal Trade Commission to work with Attorney General Pam Bondi to make sure there are competition laws. It also demands ticket sellers be transparent so consumers understand what they're buying, including all those fees.
No matter what your politics are, knows that it's a conundrum. You buy a ticket for $100, by the time you check out, it's $170. You don't know what you're getting charged for, but more importantly, these bots, they come in to get all the good tickets.
Impossible to compete with the bots. Price gouging gained attention during Taylor Swift's Eras Tour when resale tickets to her shows cost tens of thousands of dollars.
All right, a big recall alert this morning. Certain egg substitutes are being pulled from grocery store shelves because they could contain bleach. Listen up. Those recalled items are the 32-ounce cartons of Egg Beaters Original, Cage-Free Original, and Cage-Free Original frozen liquid egg substitutes. Bob Evans Better in Eggs made the real egg whites is also part of the recall. The recalled items have G1804 on the carton there.
New this morning, now might be the perfect time to plan that next cruise.
I feel like any time is, right? AAA predicts cruising numbers will break records for the third year in a row. And the cruise lines, they're doing more to lure in customers. That includes offering short trips on mega ships like the Royal Caribbean's Utopia of the Seas at Port Canaveral.
I had always heard good reviews, and it kind of seemed like my thing. I like to be around action at all times.
If you're looking for a more wellness-based cruise experience, Explore Journeys, which is owned by MSC Cruises, offers things like saunas and salt rooms, along with classes on things like sound healing and Pilates.
Well, a local mother murdered in her own home.
Still ahead, the new details we've learned about her ex-husband who's accused of carrying out the brutal crime.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
Good morning, Central Florida. I'm Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. We've got foggy conditions pretty much area-wide, dicey at times where visibility is less than about a quarter of a mile or so along the coastline throughout Orlando and Osceola County as well. Now your highs this afternoon is going to be a scorcher of a day. Temperatures nearing 90 this afternoon. And then we will have that collision of that east and west coast sea breeze really focused in right along the I-4 corridor this afternoon. And then as we get results here, the full 7-day forecast Rain chances do back off a bit, but the heat continues on. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
Like Candace has said, the fog is there and the delays starting to build a little bit. So I-4, you're good out in the Eatonville area. As you get closer to downtown, we are going to slow down pretty intense because there is a crash on the right-hand side as you're headed westbound, probably closer towards the Michigan 408 ramp. So just take it nice and easy. That fog is there. Increase the following distance. The news continues next. Remember, get updates over at clickorlando.com.
This portion of the news is sponsored by AK Certified Roofing. Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
7:30 now. Let's get a check of our top stories. Voters in parts of Central Florida headed to the polls today for a special election. Republican Randy Fine and Democrat Josh Weil are facing off for the District 6 congressional seats.
Volusia County deputies say a man shot and killed his ex-wife at her Deltona home before taking his own life. 38-year-old Ashley Vaya was found dead by her daughter early yesterday. Investigators say the suspect fled the scene but then shot himself after crashing in Flagler County.
And the latest crewed space mission from our coast now underway. Four private astronauts set to spend the next few days in orbit around Earth's poles in a SpaceX Dragon capsule. The first time that this type of orbit has ever been done.
All right, let's turn back to your weather now. Quiet this morning after parts of the area saw another round of severe storms. But as you can see here, well, as you can't see, I guess, a lot of dense fog in some areas.
Yeah, just like yesterday, let's get over to Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos with that pinpoint accurate forecast. This is about the time that fog really started to be noticeable, Candace. It will eventually burn off, but in the short term here, it's tough.
It's really socked in there. This is Daytona Beach Sky Cam to give you a different perspective. This is from coast to coast right now, but it's very spotty. Some of our cameras are a little elevated, so some areas, although the fog is pretty low at this point in time, some roadways are seeing more fog than others. So it is going to be one of those mornings where you're pretty much guaranteed to run through some sort of fog this morning. We're at 67 degrees right now. The breeze is light. It's that west-southwest breeze that's really pumping all that humidity. You'll feel it the moment you walk out the door. You can see visibility less about a quarter mile from Melbourne up through Cape Canaveral, in and around Orlando and Osceola County, even seeing some foggy conditions throughout Lake County as well. Once we burn that off, we will have tons of sunshine. That will be warming us up well above average from the coast across our inland zones, but it's our inland locations that will have that best shot for some rain. Once again, this is going to be an afternoon threat. Coverage goes up, not extremely widespread. We're talking about a 30% chance between about 3 and lingering until the early evening hours. Well, we will be pinpointing, though, location of the rain and the storms and even hotter temperatures before a big-time cool down is in store. I've got you covered throughout the next 10 days. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
And it's not an April Fool's joke. There is a pretty nice cool down coming. Listen, we're super slow westbound I-4 right now through downtown Orlando. Mix this with the fog that's there and a minor crash off to the right-hand side westbound I-4 at 408. We're creeping right now. So be careful as you approach 408 coming in from our northern portions. Your drive times right now, not horrible. Yesterday, this was up to 60 minutes. Now 27 minutes from 417 in Sanford to downtown Orlando and 26 minutes if you're coming in from Kissimmee, that Osceola Parkway. Add an extra 10 to include the Champions Gate area. Picking up some major slowdowns out in Groveland. You guys are pretty routine with this along State Road 50, from Mascot eastbound towards Groveland. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. In results 2025, voters in parts of Central Florida will head to the polls today to cast their ballot in the District 6 special election. Republican Randy Fine and Democrat Josh Weil are vying for the seat left vacant by now National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. And you've probably seen the ads. They've been hard to miss. The race has been hotly contested, both candidates holding nothing back. News 6's Mark Lehman live in Volusia County for us this morning. And Mark, this race has implications beyond Central Florida.
Yeah, it's getting national attention because Republicans hold a slim majority in the U.S. House with 4 vacancies up for grabs. 2 of those races are here in Florida and could be closer than expected. With voters heading off to the polls today, they realized the importance of the Florida District 6 congressional seat, which was previously held by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz.
It's as important as the last election.
Why is that? So they can keep control in Washington?
Well, yes, that we definitely don't need to lose that seat in Congress.
The race pitting Republican Randy Fine against Democrat Josh Weil, who have run bitter campaigns against each other.
While Donald Trump can sign amazing executive orders and take executive actions, he needs Congress to put it into law.
He is adamant over and over again that he is going to serve only one person if he is elected, and that person doesn't live in District 6.
There's also attention on the race for Florida's District 1 in North Florida. Republican Jimmy Patronis is running against Democrat Gabe Valamont. The special elections could shift the balance of power in the House, where the GOP has a 5-seat majority, something President Trump spoke about yesterday.
We have a congressional election that's a little bit close. I guess the one is in good shape, but the other one's a little bit close. But Randy Fine is a great guy. They're both good candidates.
The District 6 special election covers parts of Volusia, Marion, and Lake counties and all of Flagler County. Polls just opened here within the last a little more than 30 minutes ago and will remain open until 7 this evening. For now, reporting live in Volusia County, Mark Lehman, giving results, News 6.
Thank you, Mark. Meantime, Republicans will go to the polls today to vote in a pair of primaries for the state legislature. 4 GOP candidates are running in the Senate District 19 race in Brevard County. Whoever wins will take on Democrat Vance Aarons in June for what was Randy Fine's seat. There's also a Republican primary in the House District 32 race. Debbie Mayfield has that seat right now, but is resigning as she tries to return to her old seat in the Florida Senate. Well, this morning, a murder-suicide has left the Deltona community in shock.
Yeah, we brought you this as breaking news yesterday. A man is accused of killing his ex-wife, leading deputies on a dangerous chase before taking his own life. And it wasn't law enforcement's first run-in with him. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez is following the new development. Stephanie?
Hey guys, yeah, this is how that crash in Flagler County ended just moments before the man behind the wheel shot himself. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office tells us he was fleeing officers after killing his ex-wife.
Put your hands behind your back, okay?
Just a week before she was fatally shot, 38-year-old Ashley Vaya told police that her ex-husband Samuel Vaya grabbed her and pushed her into a bathroom. Authorities arrested the 33-year-old on a battery charge, but he bonded out. The Volusia County Sheriff says Vaya came back to the house early Monday to confront his ex-wife again.
They have a 2-year-old in common, and he comes to the house at 1 a.m. to confront his ex-wife on cheating allegations.
Chitwood says their toddler and Ashley Vaya's 19-year-old daughter were inside the home. After she heard screaming and gunshots, the teenager called 911. After the shooting, deputies tracked Vaya's car as he headed north into Flagler County. The sheriff says they knew he was armed and wearing body armor, and they chased him until he crashed in Palm Coast around 3:30.
SWAT team gets out there, they make announcements, drones are flying. They decide to try to break into the windshield of the car, where then they observe that the suspect has a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head.
A neighbor says he spoke with Vaya right after his arrest last week, not knowing what had happened or what was coming.
He was smiling. He didn't look angry or anything like that. You know, he just a mellow guy.
Now, when Vaya bonded out for that arrest, he was told to turn in all of his weapons, and the sheriff says he did turn in 3, but that he clearly kept one. In the studio, Stephanie Rodriguez, getting results, News 6.
It's really sad. Thank you, Stephanie. Family and friends of an Orange County mother who investigators say was shot and killed by her husband will gather tonight for a candlelight vigil. Takesha Eads died a week ago today on West Livingston Street in the Orla Vista neighborhood. Her husband, 41-year-old Lamar Bryan, is currently locked up, accused of her murder. Tonight's vigil will be held at 8 o'clock in the neighborhood where she was killed. Happening today, jury selection is expected to continue in the trial of a man accused of raping several women at bus stops in the Pine Hills area. Nelson Odigi was arrested 2 years ago and charged with 4 different sexual assaults that happened over several weeks along Hiawassee Road. At the time, investigators say he confessed to the crimes. If convicted, he could face several years in prison.
Well, it was supposed to be an 8-day mission to the space station, but instead, 2 NASA astronauts ended up spending 9 months orbiting Earth. Now, as Christian Benavides shows us, Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore, they're speaking out about their 286 days in space and how they're readjusting to gravity.
and splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
For Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, there's no place like home.
I wanted to hug my husband and hug my dogs. I had a good grilled cheese sandwich when I got home.
On Monday in Houston, the NASA astronauts held their first press conference since returning from the International Space Station following a 9-month stay in space.
Some happy waves, smiles all around.
For Wilmore, extended time in orbit meant he missed most of his daughter's senior year of high school.
This is the way we've trained our daughters from the time they were born, because their dad isn't a unique occupation, right? This is not the norm leaving the planet, and they understand that.
Both astronauts say they're adjusting to life on Earth. Williams says she's already running again.
I actually went out and ran 3 miles yesterday, so I will give myself a little pat on the back. Our trainers are rocking it.
Launched into orbit in June of 2024, their mission was originally scheduled to last just 8 days, but was repeatedly extended, the result of a series of mechanical and logistical challenges.
Merry Christmas!
In all, the astronauts spent 286 days in space. Wilmore says he shares responsibility for the unexpected extension of the mission with both NASA and Boeing, noting he should have asked more questions going into the mission.
There were questions that I, as the commander of the spacecraft, that I should have asked, and I did not. At the time, I didn't know I needed to, and maybe you could call that hindsight, but I'll start and point the finger and I'll blame me. I could have asked some questions, and the answers to those questions could have turned the tide.
Williams and Wilmore say 9 months in space was all in a day's work. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
Really refreshing to hear their perspective on being up there for that long. And, so many people have tried to get into their heads of what they're thinking. But I mean, what sticks out to me too is the grilled cheese was the first meal. I'm curious what yours would be, Candace, if you're on the space station for 9 months and you come back, what does that first meal look like?
I guess any food that doesn't come out of a squeeze bottle at that point.
True.
I don't know.
Chicken parm, maybe? I mean, is
that yours, a chicken parm?
Like a really, really good chicken parm, probably. Yeah, I think that sounds good.
I would like a Cuban steak sandwich.
Nice.
Does
that works
sound
too.
Good? Yeah, that does sound good. All right, let's talk about the weather forecast. This is a live look right now. We're looking over Lake Tahoe there in Kissimmee. Got the lighthouse there. Notice how foggy and gloomy it looks right now there in Kissimmee. The rest of Central Florida kind of seeing the same thing right now. We are seeing those pockets of some pretty dense fog. We have no advisories as of yet, but we're in the upper 60s to low 70s. Now along our coastline, same story. It's a mild but muggy start across the area. Now, besides the dense fog, most of that should burn off within the next 2 hours or so. It's going to be a nice beach day if you have the opportunity to enjoy it. We have that East Coast breeze. It's actually going to push most of the activity further inland than what you had to deal with yesterday at that time. 83 degrees will be our high today along our beaches. Now, when it comes to our rain coverage, yesterday it was focused between I-4 and then moving out towards 95. It's going to be the opposite. We're going to see more of that kind of equal east and west coast sea breeze collision zone right along the I-4 corridor. It's kind of where I put the little lightning icons there for you. Kind of put that into perspective. We'll be pinpointing the timing as well as a look at some hot and cool changes in the forecast in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
Now you got me thinking of food. Like, what would that meal be?
You could write a book on all the meals you'd want.
100%, but I think I'd be going to the Vineyard Wine Company up in Lake Mary. Nice little filet mignon. Freshwater lobster.
And all she wanted was just a grilled cheese.
She just wanted grilled cheese. Sorry. Bougie. I want some lobster. Westbound 408, super slow this morning, but no crashes. So don't be that driver, please. Out by 436, as you're headed westbound there on 408, you're slow down at Andy's. You're going to even slow down even more over at Lake Underhill as you make your way into downtown. Look, I just checked on some flight times. Airport's a mess right now. So if you are headed towards MCO this morning, please check on your flight times because there's been a lot of delays over the past several hours. Some flights canceled. I know because my wife can't get out of town right now. So 528 looking good. Yesterday out on patrol, I was hanging out in Oviedo where there really weren't many issues going on. Hanging out with Chief Dale Coleman of the Oviedo Police Department, their top cop. Almost 40 years with the Oviedo Police Department. Seen it all. Head over to clickorlando.com so you can watch that discussion. Really enjoy talking to some of these law enforcement leaders throughout Central Florida. Today, different leader. I'm headed out to Osceola County today. You know, the clerk of the court's office, they are involved in our lives so much. And we don't even realize it. So I'm going to speak with Kelvin Soto, the Osceola clerk, and talk about some new upcoming programs that they have that could be beneficial to you. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Steve. Before he gets his lobster breakfast, he's going to be back in a moment to answer one of the questions you sent in.
Lobster and eggs sound pretty good, right? Coming up, the rules when it comes to passing school buses.
Plus, another close call involving a commercial airline, what the pilots of a Delta flight had to do over the nation's capital to avoid crashing into a group of military jets.
It's time for Ask Trooper Steve, where I get to answer some of the questions that you send in to me. And today we're talking about clowns that pass school buses. In theory, right? Having a little fun here. Someone told me it's a mandatory court date if you pass a school bus. Is that true, Lauren? I hope this wasn't you getting in trouble out there. So yes and no. So you know how like you go to work and you hear a policy and you're like, why is this even a rule? It's because someone did it and end up messing up. So they make a policy over a law over it. So in the state of Florida, there's two parts to passing a school bus. The first part, it's illegal to pass on the side that obviously has the stop signs. You get a ticket for that, moving violation. It is insane that we have a law that says you should not pass on the side that students are loading. Obviously, this will land you an appearance in front of a judge anywhere here in the state of Florida with a mandatory court date and fines that you don't even want to imagine. So at the end of the day, big yellow school bus, don't be driving clown cars. Just pay attention. If you have a traffic safety question you want me to answer it, head to clickorlando.com/AskTrooperSteve.
It's all about the safety of those students. Thanks, Steve. The FAA is investigating after another close call near Washington's Reagan National Airport. A Delta flight nearly collided with 4 military jets flying overhead.
There are actual aircraft about 500 feet below us as we came off of DCA. Jet flight 98 affirmative.
It happened Friday as the Delta flight bound for Minneapolis was cleared to take off. At the same time, though, 4 Air Force T-38 jets were overhead for a flyover at nearby Arlington National Cemetery. The FAA says the Delta pilots received an onboard alert and were able to make a course correction. And the close call comes just 2 months after a passenger jet and a U.S. Army helicopter collided near the same airport, landing in the Potomac. 67 people were killed. Since that crash, helicopter traffic is now restricted in the area.
Florida's toll relief program is officially over, meaning drivers who often use toll roads won't be seeing a credit at the end of the month. The program, which started back in 2023, has saved SunPass and ePass users millions by offering a 50% discount for those who made 35 or more toll transactions per month. It's something Governor DeSantis says he wants to continue, but lawmakers did not renew the program.
And actually, some of these tolls, some people are spending a lot. So to be able to get half of that, if you're spending $300 a year in tolls, to get $150 back, I think that's been meaningful.
All right, so we checked, and according to FDOT, the toll relief program issued about $450 million in credits over just the past year. Well, it's not exactly a wild goose chase, but one mailman in Massachusetts says he is fed up with a group of bold birds.
Now the issue here, wild turkeys. You can see the mailman trying to get back to his truck when the group of birds blocked him, then chased after him.
You saw, me defend with the boxes and whatnot. And then when I got to the step, it's like, okay, here we are. We got to get back, make a run for it.
That's right. The fearless flock didn't stop there. The mailman says they actually followed him throughout the neighborhood, and he made several other stops there. So
They're lucky it's not November.
that is frightening.
They're thick though, aren't they?
They look.
They're chunky.
They look
They're ready to roll.
Just sitting over there at Disney at this point.
Goodness
They're ready to hop in
gracious.
line.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was, yeah. That's why you got to stay away from the wild turkey Kentucky bourbon there. That'll mess you up.
Yeah,
boy.
they will. I mean, they almost nipped on his,
I mean, if they get in the way of the mail truck, just accidentally, boop, that's dinner.
That's a new speed bump.
That's nice. No, it is what it is.
I don't think any of the four of us would even consider prepping that on our own.
Absolutely not. They're professionals.
No, you got to take it to someone.
Crystal's sitting here going, boop, dinner.
No.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Yeah. It's an art, from what I've heard. All right, let's talk about the weather forecast across the area. We have some early morning fog to contend with throughout the afternoon. It's going to get hot, though, as we continue to deal with a couple scattered showers and thunderstorms. So all that humidity that you feel when you moment to walk out the door, it's coming first in the way of fog. Then we're going to start transitioning more into a rain chance into the afternoon. Then by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even into Sunday, we're going to zap those rain chances out. It'll still be hot as temperatures will be climbing possibly into those low 90s. That is really our best shot come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of hitting those 90 degrees, which, by the way, would be the first time so far this year. And then as we head into early next week on Monday, you're going to notice on the 7th day there's a little bump in rain chances. That's all ahead of a cold front that could actually bring cooler air back into the forecast by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So let's talk about what you need to know the moment you walk out the door, though. Visibility is very limited in a couple of spots. So right now, areas in and around Leesburg, the Villages, Ocala, Kissimmee, Orlando and Kissimmee, Cape Canaveral, Melbourne, Daytona Beach. You notice it's just kind of spotty, but where we are seeing some of that fog, it is extremely dense. So just take it slow out there. Just do be aware that the fog will be an issue between now and about 9 a.m. or so. So temperatures out the door, upper 60s, the low 70s. Now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for your Tuesday. 89, that is our high this afternoon, getting really close to that 90-degree mark. We'll hit 90 degrees between now and this weekend, that is for sure. Rain chances, though, into the afternoon, after about 2, 3 o'clock, that's when those rain chances do go up. Not extremely widespread, and I'll show you why it's only at a 30%. Now, those who find that 30% chance of rain will see a lot of rain in a short amount of time. It's those afternoon sea breeze thunderstorms that we contended with yesterday. You can see by 4 o'clock, there goes that east coast sea breeze trying to push inland. And as it does so, we'll develop a couple scattered showers right there across our inland zone. That's going to be kind of that collision zone where we will see some of that heavy downpours, some frequent lightning as well. Once we're done with the rain today, it's all going to be about the heat as temperatures will be closing in on near 90 degrees, especially as we head into that weekend. Look at this big ridge and how deep it gets there with those hotter temperatures. And then there's that dive in that jet stream. And if that jet stream really does deliver what it should, it's going to be much cooler as we head into next week. As we get results here, the full 7-day forecast, though, looks like the hottest weekend of the year is upon us. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
I'm excited about this, like it's a holiday or something. 408 super slow this morning. And like I said, if you're out by the airport and getting ready to leave town today, please check your times. That MCO app does amazing. We've done stories about it. It has all the information right there in the palm of your phone. Download this stuff so you're not stuck in traffic waiting out there. Kissimmee 192, seeing some issues between St. Cloud and Kissimmee along 192. And then I-4, we're doing a little bit better westbound, but now eastbound, we have the delays settling in out by Cayley as you make your way towards the 408. Outside of that, no crashes. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. 7:52 now, an iconic restaurant known for its wait staff filing for bankruptcy.
Coming up next, what Florida-born Hooters is saying about its future.
New this morning, Florida-based restaurant chain Hooters has announced it's filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but it is not all bad news. The chain, known for those iconic uniforms, says despite the filing, they have good wings too, it's not going anywhere. Instead, Hooters says it plans to sell all of its 100 company-owned restaurants to 2 franchise groups. It comes after the chain closed dozens of restaurants last year amid rising food and labor costs. Hooters was founded in 1983, and the original location in Clearwater is still there. It is the 8th wonder of the world, is what it's known as.
You like the wings?
I love the
are
wings,
good?
yeah.
The fries are good.
Yeah,
Okay.
curly fries, it's good stuff.
All right.
I love a Hooters.
Well, a new warning for those who struggle to get a good night's rest. A recent study found lack of sleep could increase the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Researchers say it all lies with 2 critical sleep stages: slow wave sleep and rapid eye movement, or REM sleep. Experts say adults should spend about 25% of their night in each. The study found, though, not spending enough time in the 2 stages could speed up the deterioration of parts of the brain associated with Alzheimer's.
Give me a headache.
Okay. Well, are you getting enough sleep, Steve?
Never.
No, yeah.
Candace.
All right, let's talk about the weather forecast. Temperatures today nearing 90 degrees this afternoon. Our rain chances do sit about 30%. Really focusing across our inland zones today. We have that patchy fog. It will linger till about 9 a.m., Steve.
Roadways are fine, guys. Just watch out for the fog. No major crashes, just the routine delays. Don't be that driver.
Don't be that driver. All right. Thank you, Steve, and thank you for joining us this morning. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories on our new 6 Plus app on your TV.
Have a great Tuesday, and be careful out there. There's a real live shot.
Where is that? There it is.
Oh, that switched.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
Good morning, Central Florida. I'm Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. Right now at the door, we are still seeing some pretty dense fog at this point in time. Most of it should start to lift and kind of burn off within the next hour or so. Other than that, though, it's going to be a hot day. Temperatures closing in on near 90 degrees for another day, mid to upper 80s along the coastline. Throughout the afternoon, though, once again, we will see the collision of our sea breeze. Rather than being closer towards our coastline today, it's going to be a bit further inland. So really focusing up and down the I-4 corridor. Spotty showers and thunderstorms can't be ruled out pretty much